That was a beautiful, beautiful choice for an opening song. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning on Sunday, April 26, 2026. Thank you, viewers online, for joining us, wherever you might be and whenever you might be joining us. We're really, really glad that you're here. Reverend Jen chose a song by Valkyrie Beatflow called The Choice Is Mine. That was really a beautiful choice, and I hope listeners at home have the opportunity to listen. And it's a great reminder that with everything that's going on in the world today, we are a choice every day for our experience and how we choose to rise up. And so this morning's opening prayer, let's be brief. And I bring this forward from Ernest Holmes in writings on how to pray effectively. It's called A Song of Joy. There is a song upon my lips today. It sings of the glad heart and the happy ways of life. I will listen to my song, for it carols me the glad tidings of great joy, of love and of life. It tells me of the wondrous journey of the soul and the boundless life in which my life is hid. This day I'm filled with joy, and so it is. I invite Reverend Jen to the podium.
Thank you. Good morning again, and welcome to our friends online. We're glad that you're joining us this morning. So our last couple of Sunday's messages have followed what I think they've followed a little bit of a thread. Reverend Jerry spoke about consciously choosing our direction. And last week, Reverend Lynn spoke on choosing gratitude, choosing to be grateful. And choice or choosing has really been in the forefront of my mind and in my heart. And I didn't intentionally align my message with the other messages, but I feel like that's the way the Spirit works. And one of the many, many beautiful advantages of walking a spiritual path is sometimes I am unlearning. When I was younger, I was taught through the doctrine of the church that I was a member of that I chose to come here to the earth plane, that I made the choice from the spirit world to come and experience being a human, that I made a voluntary decision in the pre-mortal spirit world. And that's where all human spirits exist as children of God. This is what I was taught. An opportunity to follow God's plan of salvation, which included getting a physical body, gaining experiences and facing opposition to advance to becoming like God. That making the choice was an exercise of agency, trusting in this plan. And I didn't really understand this plan, but I understood it in the ways that's what I was told happened or happens. And it's not too far from what I believe now. I believe, and I know many of us believe, that we chose to come here to have an experience, to use our time as a classroom for a spiritual awakening or advancement. That this incarnation is part of our soul's ongoing evolution. Instead of ultimately becoming like God, and that in the teachings of exaltation, I believe that divinity is inherent. A divine spark, that spiritual essence, a sacred potential that exists in every single human being and all of creation. Our nature is perfect and we're connected to the divine. I chose to come here to expand my soul, to maybe be part of this collective consciousness, to experience the things that were best for my soul to grow. When I first came here to the Home Spiritual Center, or this way of thinking, I was originally introduced to New Thought, and I understood this concept because of my previous teachings, that I chose to come here. And then I was introduced to the idea or the concept or the belief that I also chose my experiences. I chose the experiences that I was going to have here from the spirit world. I didn't just choose to come here, but I chose the experiences or the lessons. I chose it in my pre-mortal existence. I chose it ahead of time, right? So I found my way to the home center shortly after a life-altering experience. And it was tragic and horrific and traumatic. And the idea that I chose that experience was really hard for me to get my head around. Many of you know that my son Mason died, that he chose to exit at the age of 18. Why would I choose that? Why would I choose to have that experience? It's said to be the worst, a parent's worst nightmare, right? And I know that there are many folks sitting in this room and online that can relate. And we chose that. And we can move beyond loss because I know each of us, every single one of us has endured. We've experienced situations that were unexpected, heartbreaking, painful. And we ask, I chose this? Now, I don't think the agreement was that we got to choose how we were going to have the experience, right? Say we wanted to experience love at the deepest, at the core of our being. Or maybe we wanted to experience grief or moving through grief. Or maybe the grief comes from that deep love. And again, we may not have decided or chosen how we were going to experience our humanness. Maybe we gazed from the spirit world, looking at humans having all of their experiences, and we could see the richness and the beauty in it. Or maybe in the spirit world, it doesn't even work like that. Maybe they don't even have, or we don't even have names for these experiences. Maybe it's just my human mind trying to put form to it. And we can think about or consider that we may not have chosen how things would have come to pass or have come to pass. We're choosing the lessons from the experiences, right? It's like one of the books that Reverend Connie and I have referenced before, and we've read it to the congregation. It might be time again. But The Little Soul and the Sun. And in this children's book, the story is about a little soul who wants to come to earth and experience forgiveness. And God points out there's going to have to be someone to forgive, right? So one of the teachings in the story is that everyone has the potential of being an angel in disguise, helping others to learn their spiritual lessons. Right? So this moves me into another aspect of choice. We talk a lot about it here, being at choice. Every moment of every day, we're at choice. We choose how we want to respond. We choose if we want to respond. We're at choice in the ways that we're going to think. We're at choice with the things that we're going to put into our bodies. We're at choice to live in integrity. We're at choice to be honest. We're at choice. We choose every single moment of every single day, and we're presented with opportunities or situations to choose. Sometimes we choose to be happy. Sometimes we're just filled with joy, right? And other times we choose to be miserable. We make a choice to suffer. And I think choosing and deciding, they're similar and they have a subtle difference. So choosing is most about a selection. So between options, this or that. And deciding is more of a commitment. It feels a little bit more deliberate and intentional. I've decided to change my life. we're powerful. We're powerful, powerful beings, aren't we? With this power comes responsibility. Once we acknowledge that we are in control, then that's some responsibility. That means we become more and more aware of the things that we choose. We begin to understand why we make the choices that we do. We learn, we uncover, we dive into shadow work, right? We uncover why we do the things that we do. And this growth allows us to make other or different choices. We give ourselves opportunities to make another decision or to make another choice. Soul affirming choices, soul affirming decisions. And that's exactly something that I experienced, making another choice. Some time ago, I was really struggling with something. Now I see it as a gift. Isn't that how that works sometimes? I had someone share with me just heartbreak, a devastating reality in their life. And I became attached to their experience. So much so that I was feeling it in my physical body. I was feeling it. I was aching from what they shared. And I thought, uh-oh. Maybe that's not exactly what I said, but we were at church. I said, uh-oh. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel like this. And I felt like I was facing a really tough choice. Continue to hurt, to ache, or to find another way, to make a different choice. And I began praying, like, what is this about? What am I supposed to learn here? What is this about? And always, Spirit delivers. And I realized, or I remembered, I didn't need to suffer alongside of them to be there for them. I could be a witness, an observer to their pain. I could be with them while they were crying and healing. And this led me to a crazy notion that I have the power to decide how I feel about things. Wow. How I experience my life. And it was very clear to me how I didn't want to feel. Right? I don't want to suffer. I don't want to feel miserable. I definitely don't want anything sitting in my physical body. And it opened up potential for me to discover how I did want to feel. And I got curious about that. And I decided I want to experience my life through love and joy. And I've practiced this with this person, and it definitely is taking practice. I opened up to possibilities. It's an invitation for me to meet my life differently. And within about that same time frame, I was having another experience for growth, lucky me. And I kept having similar experiences with someone. And our relationship or our friendship was strained, or it felt that way to me. And it wasn't always this way. But our interactions were leaving me feeling pretty bad. Feeling pretty bad. And I didn't want to interact with that person that way. I started noticing a whole bunch of ways in how they annoyed me, right? The way that they were behaving, what they said, what they did was under my intense scrutiny. I was frustrated and I was judgmental. I was becoming just rooted in my rightness while I pointed out their wrongness. Right? And guess what? They started affirming those feelings, right? How they behaved, how they lived, all the things that I was expecting. Yep, there they go again. Yep, they're doing that thing. The way that they were behaving was leaving me with what I was expecting, right? What I was expecting to experience. And sometimes we have a conflict with someone and we start to keep score. We add up all the ways that they hurt us, right? All the ways that they've offended us, how they've talked to us, how they've talked about us. And I could feel that happening. They didn't include me in this, or they misquoted me, or they forgot, or whatever it was. And maybe some of you can relate. Instead of having a conversation with someone, we keep track. Right? We create a list of offenses, and we can hang on to them for a pretty long time because they support our story, right? They keep that alive, that story alive of all the ways that they've done us wrong, right? Instead of doing our own healing around it, we keep score. Another incredibly uncomfortable opportunity for growth. So again, to prayer, to reflection, I decided I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore about this person. No more. I love them. I love them. They're dear to me. I want to experience everything about them through love. And I understand that this is a tall order. And I know that it's very, very possible. I made a decision. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I made a decision. I decided I was not going to experience this person in any other way except through love and joy and kindness. Man, did the universe, spirit, my higher self put me to the test, giving me opportunities and situations to react just the way I used to and to think just the way I had been. Well, there they go again. They aren't showing up in the way that I think they should. Well, they lied. Yep. They didn't follow through. Whatever the story was that I created. And again, I was delivered exactly what I was expecting. Look at me go. I'm a manifester. Right? Look at me getting exactly what I was expecting. And I feel like I was gifted this choice. I decided I was going to see them differently. That's it. I made a decision. Now when something comes up that used to bother me, I notice it. I'm noticing it a little, and I decide I'm not going to bother with it. I'm not going to bother with that. And more often, I'm noticing things aren't even hitting my radar, right? Because it's not through love or joy. That's choice in action. That's our choices in action. And this it's taking practice. It's taking a lot of practice. And I believe that eventually those experiences aren't even going to drift into my awareness. That's how powerful my choice is. How powerful our decisions are. I don't even think that this person knows that our relationship has changed, but I do. I know that it's changed. And I'm experiencing my interactions, my conversations, everything is completely different. Now, it doesn't mean that my head is in the clouds and that I'm seeing everything through rose-colored glasses, that they can't do anything wrong. But really, can they? Can they do anything wrong? Are they doing anything wrong? I was a little way into my new decision when our friend John shared a phrase or a mantra. I am that too, or thou art that. I might not pronounce this correctly, but I'm going to do my best. Tat Bam Asi. Tat Bam Asi. That person is me too. So it's a reflection of oneness and non-separation. I am that person too. I am that. I am them. I am all of those things. Because we know that often when there's some sort of a rub or an irritation, that's the invitation for us to go within, right? That's where we can go within and maybe use it as a reflection. Maybe they're reflecting something back to us. Where can we align? What in me is unhealed? We're all navigating this world with all of the responsibilities, right? We're doing all the things the best that we can. And we are that. The person who is healing from trauma, childhood trauma, or the person who's recovering from addiction, the person who struggles most days, we are that too. And this isn't a guilt tactic like, oh, they're going through something, so we can let them misbehave or treat us poorly. That's not what I'm saying. It's about choosing how we want to experience life and how we want to experience the people in our lives. We were in community a few Sundays ago at our at the table gathering, and one of our members shared how difficult it had been to get into a new routine or to change a habit. And another member shared that each step is significant when we're attempting change. And that was a really great reminder. And I hope that we're all looking at our journeys or our spiritual path as that. Each time that we correct our thinking, well, it's really not correcting our thinking. Each time we align our thinking with our desires, our goals, our dreams, our soul's highest purpose, that's a step, right? We're choosing, we're taking action. And I imagine many of us have had a situation in our past that left us so upset, maybe even angry with someone. And we felt like we would never, ever get over it, or move through it even. And now maybe they come across our mind once in a while. But we're not holding on to that, right? We've grown, we've moved past it. We've stepped forward or maybe sideways. We got out of the way of it. Maybe we got out of the way of ourselves. But those steps that are small or seem insignificant, they're not. They're so important. We get to choose the things, all the things that are great in our life. We get to make that choice and we can change our experience. We can absolutely change our experience one day at a time, just one step at a time. And I hope this share leaves you with a sense of empowerment or a reminder, maybe a little nudge or some curiosity about really, really taking ownership of your life. Take ownership of your decisions and your choices, and just know that you will have the discernment, that you know what's best for you. You will have that guidance to make those choices. You'll have that deep, deep knowing to really move through any experience, move through anything, because you've chosen to have the experience. You've chosen to have the experience that brings you back to yourself, that brings you back to love, that brings you back to joy, right? You've chosen the experience that brings you right back to God. And with that, let's just take a moment to connect within. Just move into a little meditation, closing your eyes and becoming aware of your breath. Begin to connect with your breath fully, inhaling and allowing that full exhale. And let's begin to expand our awareness to all of the unseen, the forgotten parts of ourselves. And with that expanded awareness, think about the word love in whatever form. Maybe it's the love that you feel for yourself, the love that you feel for your children, your pet, or your partner, the love that you feel when you step outside into nature. Whatever you're bringing to mind, feel love or those loving feelings. Just take this moment to breathe into that. Invite this feeling of love to be present. Breathing in the breath of the divine. Feel the warmth in your chest, at your heart center, and see that energy of love expand, allowing that feeling of love to move through your physical body. Breathing, feeling that energy of love surrounding you, not outside of you, but as part of you. And invite that energy to be present with you. Invite love to be with you. Open your heart and invite love into your experiences. And as you prepare to come back into this space, allow the love that you've integrated into your being, you've integrated with, to remain with you. Inhaling and exhaling as you become aware of your physical space. And you're gently opening your eyes when you're ready. Thank you. Are you back? Maybe? Oh, all right. So we will move into our offering portion this morning. As we prepare our offerings to the Home Spiritual Center, let us hold it in our hands and charge it up with the energy of alignment and generosity and sacred intention. We know that we are part of the greater circulation of good and that our gifts will multiply for the highest healing, growth, and service to us and our community. As the basket is coming around, please fill it with your blessings, and we thank you for your generosity and for your continued support of our good works. And so it is. Thank you, thank you. As the basket goes around, I'll invite Reverend Jerry to the podium.
Wow. What a powerful talk today. I usually get to hear that once or twice before, but wow, it's amazing. So I'm going to share a story today, kind of also about choice a little bit, I think. Um, so imagine, if you will, just for a second, an ancient forest or mountain in China. And one day, a very great and famous samurai approaches the Zen master Hakuin. And being a samurai, he knew really only about life and death, so he just wanted to know where were the gates of heaven and hell, so that when the time comes, he could escape hell and go to heaven. And so he asked the master, where is paradise? Where is hell? Where are the gates for both? And in reply, the master questioned him, who are you? And the samurai replied, I'm a leader of samurais. I'm a warrior, and even emperor pays homage to me. And the Zen master laughed and he said, really? A leader of samurais. And even someone as great as you come to someone as humble as me for the keys of this knowledge. And his samurai pride was hurt, of course, and he drew his sword and threatens. He forgot why he came and he threatens the master at that moment. He pointed the sword at the master and the master began to laugh again. And he said, touching the point of the sword, this is the gate to hell. You will open it with your ego by holding that sword in anger. The samurai realized his mistake and calmed down and sheathed his sword. And then the master continued, now when you calm down, you open the gates of heaven. And so the moral here, of course, is heaven and hell are not afterlife. They're here before us every moment of every day in the choices that we face. And so with that, I left my book over here, I think. Maybe for the closing. Yes, it's right here. Oh, please. I want to offer a closing prayer here from this little book also. I love this very old writings of prayer, and sometimes called treatment. And this one comes to us again from Ernest Holmes, and it's called The Dawn Has Come. Out of the darkness of the long night, the dawn has come. I rise to meet the new day filled with confidence and strength. I arise and go forward into the dawn, inspired and refreshed by the living spirit within me. O day, you shall never die. The sun shall never set upon your perfect glory, for the lamp of the soul has been rekindled with the oil of faith, and love has cleansed the windows of life with the spirit of gladness. They shall never more grow dim with fear, for perfect love casteth out all fear. I am renewed in strength through knowing good. My light has come. Amen. I'll invite Reverend Madge up for closing the broadcast, of course. From our heart to yours. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you again very, very soon. And now I'll invite Reverend Madge to the podium.
I didn't want to do it.